Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. For today I really want to go over mulching. I use two different types of mulch. I use straw as well as wood chips. Both of those I get completely free. So in terms of the straw, I do get that towards the end of the Halloween season. You'll find that people will buy straw bales and use that for decorations, and I'll just come in later on and knock on a door and see if they would like me to take those away towards the end. Usually they are very happy to let those go for free. The wood chips I also get for free, but from my town. So I get it from the recycle center, and they make like a large pile of wood chips from the trees that they chop down throughout the year. So if you are looking for wood chips, check out your local recycling center. Maybe your town provides that. Another good resource for wood chip is Chip Drop. You can sign up for that. The only reason why I don't do Chip Drop is the quantity that they do drop off is kind of out of your control. So I prefer to just go to the recycling center and take as much as I do need. So I'm going to take you around to the different areas that I am using the mulch in, and then I will give you kind of a little bit of further explanation, detail, all that good stuff. So for inside of my beds, I like to use straw, or for anything that's going around tender veggies. And I've had this since October. It gives it time for the straw to break down a bit. Let me get this out the way. My initial use for the straw is to have them cover the garlic bed. After that, I do have them covered until around January, and then I let it break down a bit for me to use in the spring. Once it breaks down, you get a softer material. It also makes it easier to spread, and then as it decomposes, it gives more nutrients to your soil. I wanted to bring you in a little bit closer so that I could show you. Look at that. So beyond using it on my as a mulch for my crops, I'm also going to be using it as a brown or carbon for my compost. During the time that I am composting, I normally have like a lot of greens or nitrogen pieces to put in, like the plant matter and things like that. But usually during the season, it's hard for me to find the browns, which is like the leaves. You could also shred cardboard and put it in your compost, but straw is also a good material that you can use. So for my peppers, this bed is mostly peppers and some eggplants, kind of like the same really hot climate. So the reason why I also didn't mulch it as yet is because peppers like their soil pretty hot, so the temperatures wasn't reaching that just yet. So in order to prevent the soil from cooling down too much, I waited a bit to mulch this bed. Now that the temperatures are staying in like the 70s, 80s, this is the perfect time to lay some mulch down so that the soil doesn't dry out and the peppers will still be able to retain that temperature that it likes. It's so much easier to lay down straw once it's broken down a bit versus when it's brand new. You'll have it flying all over the place. Here I could just kind of take a clump, shake it out, and it stays right where I put it. If you do cover your veggies just a tad bit, it's perfectly fine. They will find their way back out of the straw as they reach up for sunlight. So you don't have to be exactly precise on how you're placing the mulch around the plant. Another great use for mulch is to help suppress weeds. I have some volunteer calendula and sweet alyssum in this bed, but for the most part it's not completely fully built, but that doesn't stop the weeds from growing here. So I'm going to also lay down some straw. That way, once I'm ready to plant in here, I am not battling weeds. So here I have my pepper plants that are in these containers. You want to make sure that you are mulching your container plants, especially. They don't have a deep reserve of water because it all depends on how much is able to be conserved in the container versus in ground. They could kind of stretch and reach for water in more places. Moreover, I have two, let me wait for that to pass. Moreover, I have two peppers in this container, so they are going to be fighting for that water and nutrients more. So we want to kind of aid them a bit by providing some protection and some help in the water retention category. So I'm just going to grab some of that mulch and cover the top surface of all these pots. So I've just finished adding the mulch around all the containers of peppers. You can go ahead and add more. What I would do is just wait a few days, take your finger and do a test to see how well it's retaining water, and if you feel like it needs more mulch, you can go ahead and do so. But I will start with less and then add more if need be. Okay, so another area of the garden that I love to use mulch is on the pathways of the garden area, and this is wood chips that I get completely free. Our town has a recycling center and you're able to go there and kind of load up as much or as little as you need. We took multiple trips using like the recyclable totes and bags and things of that nature. I don't use it for the garden bed because it's not fully broken down. If you buy it from the store, you can pick up ones that are like fully broken down, nice brown, small pieces of wood chips, but the one that I get for free, it's not fully broken down at all. And what would happen if I put it in my garden bed, it will actually start stealing nutrients from my plants, from the soil, all of that stuff. So we don't want that. So I try to put it out in my flower bed instead, and it really works well for weed suppression. mulch it. It does break down over time, and that all happens from, you know, the environment, but also you walking around and stepping on it. So the soil underneath, if you scrape off the mulch, is actually really good soil. And oftentimes as I'm topping up a new bed, I would scrape off the wood chip and then dig up some of that soil to top the bed with. So this is a great option for those of you looking for something to suppress weeds in your walkway. I did put down cardboard beforehand, and then I went ahead and put the mulch. I prefer doing that over having the plastic liners. I just feel like it's all more beneficial. The cardboard at this point has broken down and I barely have any weeds. If I do notice that there's a lot more weeds coming up, that's usually an indication that I do need to add more mulch. Straw is perfect for the strawberry plant. I mean, it's in the name. The straw is perfect for keeping the fruits off the soil. When they touch the soil, they get dirty. The pests have easier access to them, like slugs and roly-polies. So I like to make sure that my strawberries is surrounded by straw. It also helps to keep that moisture in. So we're going to just top up our beds with straw, and I'm just carefully placing it around the plant and making sure that I'm lifting those young strawberries carefully and placing them on top of the straw. This did take me a while. If you can, just try to make sure you give them a good amount of straw from the very beginning, because going around and adding straw later is a little bit tedious. And of course, when these plants start sending out runners, it's going to be a lot harder because the airflow and room around the strawberries will be a lot less roomy. So try to make sure you do that from the beginning. But if you have to top it up like I do, just be careful around the fruits that have already formed. It's also best to maybe do this when they haven't formed yet, but you know, life happens. But they look so much better, and the girls did a picking about a couple days after this, and the strawberries were nice and clean. So this is another one of my favorite uses for the straw. And look at the snapdragon. This one actually perennialized and came back for me a second year. So guys, that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, comments, what do you use for mulch, please leave that down in the comment section down below. And I hope you guys are having a great garden season. Bye.